but the actuality,
Right, yeah.
there's 40 hakdamot, as we say, right? Oh,
Somebody's
40.
praying.
You got it. There's 40 introductions, okay? But we're skipping because we were on a topic, and it told us in the last topic that we were at that...
Al, I only have one sheet.
Is there a second sheet?
Yeah. And it told us in the other topic,
They have the
there was a
same-
note there, go,
same
the rest
ones in
of
there,
this
but they're
topic is way
not as
ahead
well
in
printed, you'll see.
chapter 38. Don't
What?
forget, we were doing chapter 15, I
Did you
believe.
say there was another sheet besides
Right.
this?
There you go. No, that's it. You have it. You have it all. Okay. We're starting with page 457.
And you have 57 and 58 in the package. but
You
it's
do
not-
have it, but I folded
it's
it
not
for you,
clear.
so you don't have to bother.
Yeah.
So the single sheet is what?
457.
Where it's
457 is just where we're going to
58.
start, but first I just got to give you a little introduction. This is chapter 38.
Even
This
though it says-
introduction is only the last part of the section of what's called the 38th introduction. This I gave you the last section. It's a very long, it's probably the rest of the book. You
So
see,
what
it's
is
huge.
23?
Yeah, wow.
That's just a subchapter?
No, yeah, these are subchapters, exactly. So the issue here is, I'm just going to read the beginning. This is not on your sheets. This is here, okay? The beginning of the 38th introduction, okay? Shmuel, who's the son of Reb Chaim Vital. Don't forget, the Arizal spoke all about reincarnations. He had what's called the Shmona Sharim, the 8 gates, 8 volumes of Kabbalistic wisdom. The gate of reincarnation is only one of those 8 gates, okay? Now, these 8 gates, the Arizal never wrote anything down.
So Vital.
All was done by his student, Rabbi Chaim Vital. He wrote everything down, okay? And it was over, let's say, I think the learning, the study, actually was maybe a 2 or 3 year period that the Arizal was in Egypt studying, became a master there, meditated, and then he moved up to Tzfat, where he met Rav Chaim Vital, and they had the Rav Chaim Vital, he learned with Rav Chaim Vital, and there was a group of other rabbis, and they learned together for a period of 3 years, okay? And that was everything that was given to him in that amount of time. In any case, his son Shmuel, who really puts this book together, he said, until this point, the Almighty, may he be blessed, has helped me to complete the work of the great rabbi, my father and master. He's referring to his father, who was Rav Chaim Vital. Nothing is missing, large or small, and it has been edited as if the hand of God was on me. However, I found in some pouches manuscripts in the handwriting of my father and master with regard to the root of his soul from the words of the great rabbi. In other words, his master, the Arizal, told Rav Chaim Vital, his student, where he comes from. Right? If you got the goods, right, wouldn't you get it? Right? If you've got the master who can tell you where you reincarnated from. You want to know? So it occurred to me that he chose to hide these notes, my father, because of his humility, so that the root of his soul should not be known to the public. However, I became concerned that this information might become lost, and therefore I decided to go against his wish with the hope that he will forgive me. I wanted to write them in the book, to engrave them so that they would remain for many days. I'm relying on the humility and piety of the great master, and I am not concerned that this may be a sin, God forbid, for great is a sin with altruistic intentions. It's an interesting thing. Great is a sin with altruistic, it's called, right? It's called, Yehudi did it. It's a sin lishma. It's like it's a sin for the sake of, with an altruistic reason for a mitzvah. It's not a mitzvah haba b'avera, but it's called an avera lishma, a transgression for God's name. Okay, let's say like there was this woman. This is I think we mentioned Sisera a little bit later. Sisera was this wicked general, right? And he was running away. And what happened was, no, that wasn't Yehudi, sorry, I had it wrong. Story, it was someone else. It was another wicked general, a Greek wicked general, right? I think her name was Yael. Yael portrayed herself because those days, if you got married, forget about Sisera, go to another wicked general. Forgot his name.
Yeah.
Was it
well,
Holofernes?
Hmm?
Holofernes?
Yeah, I know the Hebrew name probably. If you mention it,
Holofernes?
it'll come to me in a minute. In any case, what happened was, the Greek period of time. Anybody who's getting married, they have to live with the governor first. That was the rules, right? Everybody, the governor gets the bride the first night, and then
Oh, the right on first night.
right. So then,
What you want to say?
of course, this woman portrayed herself as being that bride to be. Her name was Yael. And then what happened was she gave the governor. She cut off his head.
Right.
That
cut off
was
his head.
Holofernes.
But so she did an Avera
That was
Lishma.
Judith.
There you go. Yehudi, even better.
Holofernes.
I get him. My
Holofernes.
history. Thank you. Yeah, you got a Hebrew name?
I knew it was Holofernes.
Okay, fine. In any case, it's called an Avera Lishma, a sin with altruistic reasons. Okay? Anyways, from the Almighty, may He be blessed, I ask forgiveness for all my sins, and that He should overlook all my transgressions, that He should be in my mouth, so that it should speak properly, because it says it should be His will that the words of my mouth, that He should be the rock of my Redeemer. So here, I just got to give you a little background, okay? The Arizal came for Reb Chaim Vital only. On Rosh Chodesh Adar, in the year 5331, which is 1571 from creation, the Arizal was in Egypt when he began to reach his level of understanding. He was told to go to Tzfat, and this was because I, Chaim, lived there. This was in order to teach me, for he only came to live in Tzfas, that's the city of Tzfat, or we call it Safed, because of me. In fact, the main reason for his reincarnation this time was to complete me. He did not need to come for himself. He also told me that he did not need to teach anyone else except for me. If not for this, he had no reason to be in the world.
Here's Holofernes in Hebrew.
Oh, thank you.
Holofernes.
Yehudit. It was Yehudit
Ye-
and
Holofernes.
Holofernes. Wait a minute. The
Holofernes.
Hebrew name,
Did I lose it? Holofernes.
Syrian invading general. Okay, fine.
Holofernes in Hebrew.
All right. In any case, so we see that the Arizal, he told Rav Chaim Vital that he only came for him. And then he told him his reincarnations. He told Rav Chaim Vital who he was in previous lifetimes. So he told him one of them that you have to know for what we're about to learn. He said, right, because he asked him, who was I in my previous lifetimes? If you got the Rab, if you got the source, no.
Uh-huh.
At first he says, I was Harav Vidal de Tulsa, who was the author of a work called the Magid Mishnah. His name Vidal was like mine now, Vital. Vital. After I reincarnated into Rabbi Yeshua Suriano, a very wealthy and elderly man who gave much charity. He would rise early, go to synagogue and study in the study hall and stay late.
What is his name? Rabbi what?
Rabbi Suriano, Rabbi Yeshua Suriano. After that, I was a young boy named Avraham who was 13 years old and who died at the age of 14. Finally, I came back into this reincarnation of Chaim, right? In any case, and then he's going to go on, and we'll go back to this, okay? Just because we're on chapter 38 doesn't mean we're finished with the book, okay? So now let's go to where we are on page, where are we?
457.
457, okay? Now we spoke last week's and the last times that we met about how do we have an unbelievably righteous soul come from a completely wicked father, wicked parents. And we talked about the idea of when Adam sinned in the Garden of Eden, that what happened was all of his soul, basically, the elements of his soul flew into the klipot. As the klipot, as we mentioned, or klipa, right, are the husks, or the dark husks, the dark forces, okay? These were created from before creation, that God created these elements of physicality, these influences of distraction. And therefore, the idea that we have to understand is these holy sparks of Adam's soul that flew into the klipo, the shells. The shells, their whole life force comes from these sparks or these holy souls that are in them, okay? And if should it be that these elements or these sparks should leave, then that would be their end. Very much like you have a toy and its batteries, and you take out the batteries, the toy is no longer going to work. I know that because my son comes to me every 5 minutes with a new battery-operated toy, and I gotta find batteries, put it in, hopefully the batteries are working, whatever. So you take the batteries out, no more toy, doesn't work.
99 cent store, they're the cheapest.
Thank you, I will do
And
that.
they last the least amount of time.
Okay,
I don't know. Never
Okay.
put batteries in.
so let's go. Subparagraph 23, leaving the klipos through trickery. Okay? It can't be done through an open door. The dark forces do not want you to take out the batteries, because then they'll cease to exist. It's their life force. It's their life blood. For a great soul to leave the klipos, you should know it must be done with trickery and scheming, as it happened with me. It's unbelievable how he says this, okay? And the first thing when I see this, and it is important, and it is a big thing. In our day and age, until the Mashiach comes, b'mheira v'yameinu, speedily in our days, that we look at Jacob, when Jacob went to go get the blessings, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, he went to go get those blessings, and it had to be done through trickery. It had to be that way. That Esau had to go out and hunt venison. He had to be off the scene, and he had to go in this way to get those blessings. Very much similar, okay? Because the other side will not let you go in simply and get those blessings, okay? So since the chitzonim means outer ones, outer forces, external influences, evil, okay? They call them chitzonim. Okay, outer. Since the chitzonim had thought that I was lost among them, and I was hooked up to their battery source, God forbid, they did not suspect anything when the Holy One, blessed be He, took me out as a Tselem Makif. What is a Tselem Makif? Tselem, you might have heard of as a classic phrase of Tselem Elokim, which means literally the image of God. Tselem means literally a form. Okay, that's what Tselem means. Okay, Makif means surrounding. The way that we're going to understand it here for us is, let's say, like we learned in many chapters before about the concept we call Ibur. Ibur is like a hovering soul that hovers around. It's connected to the person, it influences, but it hovers around. Here, it's not necessarily that one. It does not impart influence, this Tselem Makif, but it exists there. Okay, just like we have a soul, we have a panemius of our soul, an inner part, and we have elements of our soul which are hovering about. They're so sublime, so high, they don't have an anchor in our bodies. Okay? Those are elements of our soul. So here he's describing himself as, I was once a Tselem Makiv of Harav Magid Mishnah, who was the Magid Mishnah that we explained that his name was earlier. His name was Rav Vidal de Tulsa. Rav Vidal de Tulsa was this author of this book. And Rav Chaim Vital, during the lifetime of the Magid Mishnah, was a hovering soul, attached, but not influencing. They had thought that this was to their benefit, that I had been transformed into, quote-unquote, an enemy. In other words, he's one of us. He's on our side. Okay? Thus you will find that many great souls have come in the bodies of simpletons, and sometimes even in the children of evil people, such as Abraham was born from Terach. In fact, Chazal have said in Midrash Rabbah, and it is in the Zohar as well, that Terach angered his master, that means God, by having relations with his wife while she was a menstruant. In other words, we're not allowed to have relations when the woman is in nida. We call it nida, when she's in her cycle, right? She has to go to the mikveh before they have relations. So here's Terach did something extreme, and he had relations. I guess I don't know how they had this idea then. I don't know how Terach, he was not Jewish. such an issue would be for him. In any case, on a more subtle level, to some degree he knew it. Okay? You know, Noach learned Torah. You know that?
So did
And there's no source for it except for a Rashi in the Chumash. Noach learned Torah. Because when it said, take 2 of the unclean and 7 of the clean, how did he know which one were the clean animals to take 7 of?
But then Abraham also learned Torah without
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
He intuited through his
From-
kidneys,
From,
his kishkes,
from Seth, from Seth.
Shays. Well, Adam taught Shay something, and then yes, and he learned Torah. Apparently, there was a transmitted
Mhm.
But did
way.
Seth live long enough to teach Yitzhak?
Who?
Yitzhak, Isaac,
Who?
Shays. Who taught Isaac?
Avraham Avinu taught Yitzchak.
I thought he went to an academy and learned
Oh,
from Shays.
Shem and Aver.
Shame.
Shem, the son of Noah. However, through this, God tricked the Chitzonim, the outer external forces, by placing the soul of Avram Avinu into this seed. In other words, look, he's born from a menstruous relationship. Terach had a relationship with his father that was a sin by the standards of heaven. You can't have a holy soul come through that. Yeah, so why not let Avraham be born from that? Avraham was the most precious diamond ever. Okay? So he tricked the Chitzonim by placing the soul of Avram Avinu into this seed. The Chitzonim had no idea that it was his tikkun. In other words, Avram's tikkun was to be born from Terach and to carve his way and break out on his own, right? From all of that influence. This is the reason why Terach reincarnated into Eov. If you want to know where Job comes from, Job is Eov.
I didn't know that.
Job, right, everything that he went through, why? Terach. His soul was really Terach. And why was he punished with boils? That's why. Why? For one who has relations with a menstruant is punished with leprosy, boils. For this reason, Avraham had to be thrown into the fiery furnace to become, quote-unquote, whitened. Okay? So in other words, he became purified through going into even though he didn't get burned in there, technically, though, according to the rules of fire, it burns. And yet, even though Avraham survived this fire for 3 days.
Without even a smell of ash.
Without even a smell of ash. He smelled like the Garden of Eden when he walked out. They go, what are you wearing? Everybody wanted to know. Okay? In any case, Avram always looked at himself. Ani afer ve'efer. He always looked at himself as walking ashes. I am walking ashes.
When was he thrown
Question.
in?
I thought that only the Jews were subject to this having sex, during menstruation.
I agree.
Yeah, but Terach is not a Jew.
So I'm telling you, I don't have an answer.
Okay, I'm
I'll
just
tell you
bringing
the
it up.
answer. It's like, what? Yeah, okay. The only idea that I would have is that since he is a descendant of Noah, and Noah learned Torah, there was some kind of tradition that's passed down. Okay? Avram Avinu, he intuited every single thing through his kishkas. In other words, his kidneys, his klios, gave him all of the advice that he needed, and he was able to intuit through his intuition, even the rabbinical mitzvah of Erev Tavshilin. Erev Tavshilin is a certain enactment that the rabbis made that you're not allowed to cook from Yom Tov, right? For Shabbos. You're only allowed to cook on Yom Tov for Yom Tov. You can't cook on Yom Tov or something
For something.
after Yom Tov. Can't do that. Against the rules. But if you start cooking on Shabbos before Yom Tov, and you're just continuing, so you're allowed to continue if you started before. So you have an egg and a matzah and you make a bracha on before Yom Tov. This is your Erev Tavshilin. This allows you to cook on Yom Tov for Shabbos. Anyways, he was able to do that. He intuited even that. Okay?
What's the source of the fiery furnace?
That he was, what do you mean?
They was thrown into the, where is that coming from?
Oh, that's Midrashim. That's all. It's not in the Chumash.
It has
We'll
to
find
be
it.
someplace.
We'll
Midrash.
find it.
Yeah, Midrash.
Right?
All right.
There's one
All
more.
of the writings, all in the
Yeah, I'd like to know
Talmud,
too.
Midrash, all of it. Okay, it was similar with respect to David HaMelech, King David, who only left the klipot at the time of the incident mentioned by Chazal on the pasuk. Chazal means our wise men of blessed memory. On the verse, pasuk means verse. Behold, in iniquity I was fashioned. What does it mean? Behold, in iniquity I was fashioned. King David was saying that, and here it explains. For he had thought that his father Yishai had fathered him through a concubine. Okay? Because really, understand, Yishai separated from his wives. Okay? He separated from his wives. And yet what happened was, and he wanted to be holy. It was one of those, it was a holy thing that he wanted to do, right? Sanctify himself, abstain from relations for a certain period of time, right? And what happened was his wife, one of his wives, secretly switched with the concubine, because he was with the concubine, but he wasn't with his wives. Switched with the concubine, and all of a sudden, here it is, his wife is pregnant. Right? So here Yishai says, well, I haven't had relations with you in a while. Well, how is it that you are expecting? Must be you were playing around.
Right.
Okay? Really wasn't. Right? So you had to imagine King David is raised and everybody thinks he's Mumser boy. Okay? Everybody thinks, comes from a concubine, maybe, some other relationship. I don't know where it comes from. So he even thought he was born in iniquity. He was born in sin. Whereas in truth it had been through an actual wife of Yishai, of Jesse. Furthermore, Yishai's wife, had seen a drop of blood after relations, which kind of it's an indication that she was in her menstrual cycle or just began her menstrual cycle. And thus it continues, in sin did my mother conceive me. Okay, so it says, the whole verse says, iniquity I was fashioned, in sin did my mother conceive me. In other words, I came from the dark side. I wasn't coming through a holy white door. Okay, there was stuff going on. Okay? However, had it not been for all of this, the Chitzonim would never have let him leave. They would never have let him go out from their grasp into being born into the world. Okay? He was with them. By the way, this is also an amazing thing. Now listen how. It happens to be that last week's Parsha was Balak. Now Balak, the reason why Balak, here's Israel, and they're in the border of Moab, but they're not coming in, right? They're not attacking.
Right.
They're chilling. And Balak knows that they're not attacking. Must be I'm okay. They're not going to attack me, right? So why did he go all out of his way to go ahead and hire Bilam to go ahead and curse the Jewish people that he could wipe them out? Okay? Many ideas. Why? But I heard one idea yesterday. It was a fabulous idea. It's because Balak knew that within him is the seed, is King David, the soul of King David. Because really, either his granddaughter was Ruth or his great-granddaughter. Ruth came from King Balak. Ruth, that King David comes from.
Right.
So he knew within him or his people has this unbelievable high soul, a big battery. We got a big, huge nuclear power plant. We got an oil well, a lot of oil, right? That's my oil. I do not want this oil, this source of energy, going to Israel. He did not want King David, the soul of King David, to leave their grasp and go in. Okay? So that's why he hired Bilam, and Bilam tried with all his might to try to uproot, working in the spiritual realms, trying to knock out the throne in order that King David, who's the fourth leg, because it's the throne considered to be 4 pillars.
Which of them remind me was a
Abraham, Isaac,
descendant
Jacob,
of
and David.
Laban?
What?
Which one was a descendant of Laban? I can't remember.
Lavan, Bilam.
Bill.
Bilam, yeah.
In many places, first it says son, then it says grandson.
Yes.
I don't think they know. Or maybe it's all the same.
I don't know. In any case, so King David here, he didn't want King David to be released, King of Balak. He didn't want to let go. You know, the only way to let go was like this kind of trick. Okay. The office, the spiritual office of the external forces were okay to let David come out into the world through the dark forces, as long as, let's say, this whole stuff went on. That he thought that he was from a concubine, and that his mother had seen some blood after relations. So therefore, it's a sin. He's not going to be able to express his potential, even though there's potential for good, but he won't be able to express it. By the way, even King David was even supposed to have been stillborn. He was not supposed to have been born.
But
Yes, Adam prayed for him to exist in the world, and he had to cut off 70 years of his life to get for King David. That's why he only lived 930 years as opposed to 1,000. Adam. This is also the reason for the episodes of Tamar, right? We know what Tamar and Yehuda, right? She makes herself like a prostitute, has Yehuda, also the same thing. If it's a dark act, no good can come from it. The Chitzonim are relaxed. They're okay with the traffic of the souls going. Okay, they're okay. Because you know why? He's going to be on our side. He's going to be doing wicked acts, which is going to give us more money. Right? He's going to make energy for us. They think he's working on our team. Ruth is the same, who was the granddaughter or great-granddaughter of Balak.
and Boaz was from that.
Ruth,
yeah.
Yes, it's Ruth.
Ruth is from Moab, and her husband Boaz is from Tamar.
Yes,
Yes, and he lived one time just to inseminate her. And then he
Boaz.
died.
He did what he needed to do. Okay? Rachav the prostitute.
I don't remember that name.
Rachav the prostitute, bizarre. She was the dragon queen of Jericho. She was, if you would mention her name in those days, anybody who knew her,
They'd kill you.
no, they wouldn't kill you. If you just mentioned her name, you would have an emission. Okay, just mentioning the name. Okay, how do you like that? Okay, just to get like off the PG rating. Okay, sorry to do that.
It's
In any
fine.
case, Rachav, she was like unbelievable. She married Yeshua.
Really?
She converted because she saw the value. She's Jewish people. She saw the light,
Right.
and she converted. Okay, and she married Yeshua, right? The leader. You think, what? She's a sheikh. All the souls of converts also coming. They're coming with all of their mishigas, but they're bringing holy souls back. Okay, the Bali Tshuva is the same. They go to the highest places.
What's the difference between the Moabites and the Midianites? And Balak was king of the Moabites. Why were the Midianites?
I think it's a different area, wasn't it?
The text mentions both in that
Yeah, they
little
do.
passage.
They kind of switch, but the Midianites was where Moses hung around. Okay.
Where he found support.
You mean his father-in-law?
Yeah, his father-in-law. And that's where Bilam hung out.
Oh.
Okay. So they were like the Midianites and the Moabites got together
So
to
they
get
were-
rid of the Jewish people.
I see. That's why the Midianites were punished. Okay.
So the Midianites donated their women to be in the end of this week's parsha to be the prostitutes in the marketplace, in the Galleria, to entice the Jewish men. Just to keep you up, okay? Just to keep you on your toes, right? The marketplace. They made a shuk out in the desert. They had the older ladies in the front with shmatas,
Right.
and they had the good stuff inside. And the ladies would go inside. They think there's better stuff inside, and the men would go inside. And there's some hot lady there, and there's and that's what happened. And they
So
seduced the men.
And what
So
did
God
the
sent a
Jew-
plague and killed 24,000 Jews, but the women, they survived.
What,
The
the wives?
prostitutes.
No, they got. Listen, what happened at the end?
Yeah, at the end they get it.
They get it. You're right. They went out to war.
Mhm.
They knocked out the Midianites.
Yeah.
Couldn't touch the Moabites because Ruth is coming. You
Right,
got to
right,
preserve
right.
the Moabites.
Yeah.
Don't touch those. Can't even provoke them. You can't even go nan at the border. You can't even do that. No provoking. Just don't mess. Rule. Okay.
Yeah, later it's true. They killed all the men.
The kid, now the Midian, they came back with the Midianite women. Moshe goes, he lost it, right? lost it. He got mad. He says, these,
Yeah,
are,
but
these are the
Pinchas-
women who got you into trouble in the first place. So they had to do what they had to do. Okay?
Pinchas.
Yeah, but
Pinchas had to do what he had to do. Let's
he
not
only
go
killed
there.
one.
All right, come. All right. So, anyways, we see always that the highest souls come from the darkest places. Okay? It didn't mention that Moab came from from Lot, living with his a man living with his daughter.
Good intentions.
Good intentions, very good intentions, right? And the union of Yehuda and Tamar, right? Wait a minute, sorry, I skipped. Rus, Rochav, the prostitute, all the souls of converts, all the kings from David, and Mashiach who will have come from Rus, the Moabite, and the union of Yehuda and Tamar. Rabbi Akiva himself was the son of converts who descended from Sisera. Sisera was the bad boy, right? Very bad man, right? Sisera. But who came from him? Rabbi Akiva. All of our oral law comes from Rabbi Akiva. Okay? This is the trickery and scheming that the Holy One, blessed be He, used against the Klipos in order to free a soul exploited amongst them. Okay, understand this. Okay? So it has to be done with trickery. Okay? Always that. Returning to our discussion. Since this was the first time that I left the Klipo, this is Reb Chaim saying this, okay?
Where?
Reb Chaim Vital. Don't forget, this is from a manuscript, a handwritten manuscript from the son of Reb Chaim Vital saw,
Right, right.
right? Returning to our discussion, since this was the first time that I left the Klipos, it has been very difficult for me to conquer my Yetzer Hara. This is why I am constantly sad. For all depression is as a result of the chitzonim. What a statement there. Can you get that? All depression is a result of the chitzonim, the external forces. Okay?
Who did you say left? Is this Adam?
This is Rav Chaim Vital is saying,
Oh,
that
okay.
ever since he left, he always has had this depression. Because of that's the evil
Okay.
inclination wants you to be depressed. Okay, Reb Nachman says the later generation before Mashiach comes, this generation, the sickness of the world is depression. Let me ask you, are there more people on meds these days than ever? Or nah?
Only those with insurance.
Only those with insurance.
Everybody else just stays depressed.
Okay.
Or they,
A lot of people on pain medication these
Or
days.
they live under the bridge.
Okay, yes. Okay. So all depression is as a result of the chitonim, and as mentioned already, my soul was a besod selam, which is in a kind of like a makif on the head of the Harav Hamagid mission, even though he is on a lower level than me. Any soul immersed in the depths of the klipos cannot reincarnate into the world immediately, but rather it must first come 3 times in what's called besod selim, a makif, a surrounding soul layer, on 3 people from the same root. In other words, we all have roots, the same root. You have a root of a soul, right? So you have to be 3 times as this surrounding element of this person's soul before you can actually come in. Okay? That's if the soul was immersed in the dark husks. Okay? 3 times, right? See, the reason why it all has to be trickery is because, if you take away their life force, right? You take away the life force of the dark forces, they're dead. They're nothing left, right? You take the batteries out, right, of the matrix, there's no more matrix, right? If everybody would wake up and unplug themselves from it, it has to be trickery. You can't do it all of a sudden. You can't jump fence too fast because they'll get you for it, okay? After that, he can reincarnate and come into the world besod pnimis. That means an inner soul, literally. I mean, that's your main soul. Pnimis means inner. Okay, besod means in the secret of the inner, meaning the inner literal soul. So this is called the first reincarnation for him. My nefesh came 3 times in the secret of this makif, this surrounding, besod selam makif, on 3 people from the root of my soul, though not from my level. The first was this Magid Mishnah, and after was Rabbi Yeshua Soriano, and then after him was a man named Rav Shaul Tarishti, okay? And then, finally me, the young Chaim Besod of an actual inner soul. I am a new soul, since this was the first time I have come to the world, though I reincarnated with these 3 men. Thus now I have 4 souls, my new one, and the 3 older Gilgulim reincarnations. Even though 2 of them were not Torah scholars, as I have written before, every soul of a Torah scholar has branches that include non-scholars, simpletons, and action-oriented people. Therefore, since they are from my root, and because I was in the sod of Tselem on their heads surrounding, I'm on 459, they have reincarnated with me for their own sake. Okay? Interesting. So now, it seems like he has now 3 other souls attached with him in this journey. Okay? They have reincarnated with me for their own sake. There's a great story. They teach Rav Chaim Vital. I think he was in a shop, he's in a store, and he's learning the mystic art, he's learning the mystic texts and everything, and he's got questions. The Arizal came in pretty cool, not anything, not asking, he wanted to buy some socks, right? And he bought some socks, and then on his way out the door, he turned around and he started giving a drasha, exactly about what Rav Chaim Vital was bothering Rav Chaim Vital. In other words, he was answering his questions. And that's when he fell on the floor and he says, Rabbi. Right? Because he had his own following, Rav Chaim Vital. But then once he's met the Ari, he's like, Rabbi. That was it. And then there was a time where actually the Arizal was teaching him and he wasn't getting it. He wasn't getting it. So they took a trip. They went down to the Connect. Tzfat overlooks the Connect. And he went to this certain place, traveled by the Connect, and he looked there, and the Arizal was going like this. And he says, okay, you have to drink the water from there. Because that is where the rock of the well of Miriam is. And he drank that water. And when he drank that water, so then he says, my whole eyes, my whole mind was completely open. And then he was able to go ahead and grasp the mysteries. Okay? But then I'll tell you the end. Okay? The blemish of the Magid Mishnah was from an accidental sin that occurred to him regarding the laws of Nida. Somehow it always has to be that. I don't get it. It's like, wow, boom, boom, boom.
Is it Chaim Vital?
Yeah, well, the Magid, the person who he was first. The person who he was first, he had a blemish, an accidental sin, through the laws of Nida. We don't know what it is. Rav Shaul Tarishti was after him, and he accidentally killed a child when he performed a circumcision before he was fully qualified. Rabbi Yeshua Soriano was next, and he knowingly ate forbidden fat. I guess there's certain fats you're not allowed to eat. Okay? Interesting, because forbidden fats was only shaykh for the temple times, the korbanot. Thus, the 3 of them had to reincarnate with my soul to rectify their sins, since I am from the level of tendons. Interesting. Now he knows what body part he comes from. Okay? Don't forget, when we looked at it, that we look at the whole form of a man, all the body parts, 248 limbs and 365 sinews, right? And everybody comes from a root of one of those body parts. Right? Could be the left leg, right, left arm, right ear, left ear, right ear, lip, upper lip, lower lip, nostril, toenail. Okay? So here he says, I am from the level of tendons. So I need to clean the quote-unquote mold from their sins in order to rectify the entire root, in order to draw down the level of blood for the entire limb. Even though I did not commit their sins, however, because their branches are mine, they are branches of mine, I need to rectify them. So it's upon him that even though he didn't do those sins of those 3 entities, those 3 reincarnations, because they are his branches, so therefore he is responsible to rectify all of those sins. Some job, huh? My teacher also told regarding the discussion of souls that Adam Arishon incorporated all the souls of the world. When he sinned, he was reduced, as Chazal say, that means our wise men of blessed memory, on the verse, "You have laid your hand upon me, and nothing remained of me but a portion." That's what it says in Tehillim. Now, Tehillim was written by 10 people. Adam was one of them, the authors. In other words, King David did not write all
I
150
didn't know that.
chapters. There were 10 other authors of Tehillim. King David put them together in the book. He wrote several, but not all. Some were written by Adam. Mizmor Shir Liyom HaShabbos. Sing the Song of Sabbath Day, written by Adam Arishon, right?
Really?
Yeah. You know when he wrote that? Amazing. When Cain got kind of out of the meeting with God, right? Cain was called into the office. Cain, step into my office, and God had a meeting with Cain, right?
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, you killed your brother. What do we? So when he got out of the office, out of the meeting with God, so Adam was in the waiting room, I guess. What did he say? What did he say? He says he's gonna let it. He's gonna make a tikkun. He's not gonna kill me, right? I got a mark on my forehead. The animals are not gonna kill me. There is tshuva. So that's when he's saying Mizmor Shir Liyom HaShabbos, because the Shabbos day is the best day to do tshuva. Okay. In any case, okay.
And you know these more surely Yom HaShabbat. Okay.
Yeah. So in any case, where are we? Tendons, branches. Adam Arishon, you've laid your hand upon me, and nothing remained of me but a portion. Right. This is the sort of why Adam was called Chala of the world. Interestingly enough. Okay. In other words, the idea really is Adam his stature was very high, but after the sin he shrunk. He got shrunk. Okay, spiritually shrunk. Okay, challah of the world, is a very big thing. That's why women need to take challah. It's a big tikkun, because the earth, and God took a pinch of the earth, and He made man, and He put a soul into that. So like the pinch of the earth is like Adam, and then He blew the neshama into Adam, which is the fire, which is why women also light candles on Shabbos night. For both things. They take challah and they light candles. Okay? The explanation of portion means 2/100 of all his levels. Okay? However, with respect to Adam of Asiya, it was the most elevated 2/100. And that is why they are called truma, elevation offering, as it says, elevate its fats from it, because they are the choicest of all. So in other words, the choicest is also called a truma. In other words, the challah is like it can't be the rotted portion. You're not going to take the moldy. Okay, not that you have one. It's a fresh challah dough, hopefully you're pinching from. But the idea of truma is also cutting away the top part and giving it to God, right? So Adam was this very unbelievable holy entity, the truma of the world, okay? Nadav and Avihu.
One question.
Yeah.
The challah represents the
Body.
The body for Adam or for
Of Adam.
or mankind.
Well, all mankind comes from him.
So
Right.
the pinch from this, all of mankind and the spirit
Is the neshama.
So that's the challah and the candle.
So she basically, when she
Recreates the world.
she
She has problems. Souls will learn.
made Adam sin, so obviously the body and the neshama were tainted. So therefore, her rectification is pinch the inch and light the flame. Okay, got it? Okay.
Yes, women have to repent.
Yeah.
That's what they have to
It's
do.
a tikkun. We all have to repent.
I thought it was just the women.
So where did that
No.
come from?
It's all part of the rectification process. Okay?
No, men
Baruch
always on the
Hashem.
women, everything on the women.
Okay, this is the truma that Adam gave over. So what is this truma? 2/100. It's an interesting phrase. What is 2/100? Okay?
Is truma portion?
Truma, yes. This is the truma that Adam gave over to Cain, his son, since he was the firstborn. Born after the sin of Adam. Now that's an interesting thing. Okay? Some people say he was born before. Okay? Here he says that Cain was born after the sin. Some people don't know. Did Chava give birth to Cain and Abel before the sin or after the sin?
But Cain was born first anyhow.
Yes. Okay, so in any case here, he says quite explicitly, he was born after the sin of Adam. This Nefesh reincarnated into Nadav and Avihu, who are the two from the 100. In other words, he gave Cain 2 100s, one of Cain's and one for Nadav and Avihu. Okay? In other words,
So
it's like
one
a
soul?
secret, a soul, but like it's like a box in a box. Okay? You got a box and a box and so in other words, you have a portion and another portion for something to happen later on. So Cain got his own portion, and he got this other portion that comes into Adam, that reincarnates into Nadav and Avihu.
So it's a split.
I guess.
The one portion goes to Cain and the other one to Avihu.
Yes.
Oh, wait a minute. Adam and Avihu are two people, so they get...
They become one. I think it discusses that now. If not, I'll tell you. Okay? This is the truma that Adam gave over to Cain, his son, since he was the firstborn, because the firstborn always gets a double portion. Okay?
I see.
Always gets a double portion. That double portion reincarnated into Nadav and Avihu, who are the two from the 100. And this is the sod of, we are unclean for the soul of man, which is the Nefesh Adam. It should have said for the souls of men, but it said soul of Adam, Nefesh Adam, which means Adam. Thus, the two of them were from the one level of Nefesh of Adam, literally, while the remaining 98 portions of the Nefesh of Adam left him at the time of sin. Hence it says the firstborn Nadav with we call it a psik. You see the line there after the words, it says that psik, okay? The firstborn Nadav, there's a certain cantillation marks. A lot of the mysteries go into cantillation marks. It's never there just because of it's there to teach us unbelievable things. So it has here in the note, one of the tamim cantations of the Torah, there is a line after the word bechor, firstborn, in the parsha, signaling a break between the word firstborn and Nadav. To allude to the firstborn of the world. Who was the firstborn of the world? Cain, who became Nadav. However, Avihu means he is the father. That is, the Nefesh of Adam Arishon, the father of the entire world. So it's not Cain. Cain becomes Nadav, and Avihu is Adam. How do you like that?
Very confusing.
Very confusing. Okay? But we have something. We have to get what we can. This is what we can. Who is Nadav? Cain reincarnates into Nadav. And Adam, okay? Because the word Avihu means he is the father. Av, like Abba. Avihu. He is the father. So it means what? The Nefesh of Adam Arishon, that is who Avihu is. Avihu comes from Adam Arishon. The reason why Avihu is a more direct allusion to Adam is because Avihu had the Nefesh and Ruach from the level of Cain. Okay, I got it wrong. Okay, he had the Nefesh and Ruach from the level of Cain. Thus he was called Avihu, my father, because he was Adam himself in Nefesh and in Ruach. Nadav only had the Ruach from Cain. And this is the sod of, with your generous spirit, Ruach Nediva, sustain me. Since his Nefesh came from Aminadav, now we're going into another character, okay? Aminadav, the father of his mother, therefore he took the last three letters of Nun, Dalid, and Beis as Nadav. Aminadav is Nachshon, who was the son of Aminadav, okay, from the tribe of Yehuda, okay? Nadav and Avihu were not from that tribe. Nadav and Avihu were actually from the tribe of Levi. They were descendants of Aaron, okay? I don't know how all of a sudden he threw Nadav of Aminadav here, but he's going to help us, okay? Hold on. Avihu was from the root of Nachshon, the brother of his mother. Okay, I think Elisheva, yeah, that's right. That's right. Aaron married Elisheva, whose brother's name was
Nachshon.
Nachshon. Okay? They always say that. If you're going to marry somebody, check out the brothers. The family. The brothers. If you marry a woman, you check out the brothers. What kind of people are they, the brothers, right?
Oh, wait a minute. Aaron married Elisheva, who...
That's why they mention it there.
Who's
Nadav,
what?
who was, wait a minute. Aaron married Elisheva, the brother of Nachshon,
They weren't.
who came from Aminadav. Okay? Trying to get the family tree here. Again, Avihu was from the root of Nachshon, the brother of his mother, who is called this because the main Zuhama from the snake that entered Adam was on the level of Nefesh of Asiya.
What is Zuhama?
Zuhama means Shmutz.
Shmutz.
How do you translate Shmutz?
I got it.
Dirt?
Don't have to translate it.
You see, Cain came as a result, or the main influence of Cain was the Zuhama of the Nachash. They say, and they use it loosely, that Cain really came from the cohabitation of the serpent with Eve. But it wasn't a literal cohabitation. But because of that, Cain was greatly, though, influenced from the Nachash.
From the snake.
More than Hevel. Okay?
That's why.
So therefore, we have all of this Cain business. There you have Nadav and Avihu. Nadav and Avihu, here he's like going through this idea that obviously Nadav and Avihu were from Cain and from Adam. Different levels of soul. But here he wants to hook it up that it's coming from or through Nachshon, okay? Who was from Yehuda, again, okay? Nachshon reincarnated into Yishai, the father of David. And thus Yishai's daughter was called Abigail, the daughter of the snake. I didn't know that's what that means, okay?
It was called Snake. You said
I didn't know it was Yishai's daughter, Abigail. I thought Abigail married King David. Chazal say this refers to Yishai, who was called Snake, since he died from the bite of the snake only.
The snake.
Even though he rectified all of the Zuhama of the snake from the Nefesh of Adam Arishon, he nevertheless died from the bite of the snake as a result, he rectified Hevel. Yishai was one of the people, there are 4 people, who didn't die because of a sin. They only died because of the original decree of Adam. Adam was told, once you eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, you will die. Right? So therefore, once Adam ate from there, it became upon all mankind to die.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Some people, really, they never sinned. They really, technically, shouldn't have died because they never sinned. Because a person dies because of his sin.
So if the snake never bit Adam, Eve,
If-
or ever bit, all mankind would still be living?
Adam was meant to live forever. And he would have children, and we all live forever.
There'd be too many people in this world.
Never. There's plenty of room.
Plenty
Don't
of-
worry about it.
Okay.
Okay? Don't worry. We don't worry about those things. Okay? It would have been an astral realm. There's no space and time
Yeah, that's true.
so it's beyond. Okay?
I thought Abigail had the meaning a gift from God.
It says.
Yeah. Here it means the daughter of the
Yeah,
snake.
it's a different translation.
Yeah, quite.
She was,
Very different.
Gift from God
Some
versus
of
the
it,
daughter of the
daughter of
snake,
the
I'm not
snake.
sure about that.
so the snake.
Yeah, the Yetzer Hara was really the venom of the
was always-
snake
it's
that was
originally Yishai.
injected
Yishai was
in
called the snake.
the Garden of Eden.
Into Chava.
Yeah,
Chava gave
yes.
birth to Cain, and Cain gave.
And
and-
therefore,
and-
we have our
Cain-
lives dedicated to getting rid of the Yetzer
The
Hara.
question is, what is
Hashem.
Nadav and Avihu really fixing here? What is really
The
being
Torah
fixed
says
with
Cain
Nadav and Avihu?
was from Hashem.
What?
Says, I have gotten a man with the help of Hashem.
David's father was Yishai.
Kanisi Ish et Hashem. Correct. She was a. It's a very important name, Kanisi, but you have to understand. If you want to look at in the Bible in terms of its conceptual idea that the 2 paradigm archetypes, personalities of Cain and Abel, right? Cain is kinesi, I have acquired, I acquire.
Oh,
Me.
he was a caker.
It's evil, it's ego.
Mhm.
Now, the ego is good in a balanced form. Balanced. Hevel was a vapor. His name was Vapor. Okay? Air. Hevel means air.
Yeah, vanity.
So you look at the opposite extreme of the two archetype personalities of Cain is I acquire. And Hevel is nothing has value. It's all air. Right? You see how they're like diametrically opposed. Okay? Now there's a balance you have to make. Cain's balance is, we learn from Gomorrah and Sanhedrin, that a person is obligated to say, B'shvili nivra ha'olam, for me the world was created. You have to have that attitude, that you can make a difference in the world in terms of rectifying the world. Not for me the world was created for me so I could take everything's coming to me. No. For me the world was created, Rabbi Nachman says, in order to pray for what the world needs and bring a rectification, and you can do it. That's kinesi, that's the rectification of Cain. Okay, yeah.
I read of Drush that the reason that the snake was after Eve was because he saw Adam and Eve.
Yes, they were having relations and he was jealous. Go figure. Okay? Don't understand it because he had his own wife. What do you think? The snake didn't have his own wife? Snake had his own wife.
He had a snake.
He had a snake wife, right? She actually reincarnated into Leah.
What?
Leah. Leah was the wife of the Nachash.
But
And the Nachash reincarnated into Esau. That's why the whole thing with Yaakov Avinu and having to steal the blessings. Rivka was Chava, right? Rebecca is Eve. Her son Yaakov is Adam, and now Eve has to make the situation for Adam to get back those blessings because the Nachash stole the blessings when he caused Adam and Eve to sin in the Garden of Eden, as my father-in-law would say, right? Yaakov and Esau is really Adam and the Nachash round two.
wait a minute. The snake's wife didn't do anything
Now
bad.
the snake's wife didn't do anything bad.
So how
but-
come she went into Leah?
Listen, because Leah, what happened with Leah? What happened with Leah? Also something like amazingly dynamic, which is really apropos for what we're learning
Oh yeah,
today.
she didn't want to marry Esau.
Yeah, because they says, oh, older brother, older sister, younger sister. Older brother marries a older sister. So Esau, so they told Leah, you're going to marry Esau, the most slimiest, the mafioso, gangster, murderer, cutthroat, idolatrous, venomous, disgusting person. It's your husband. It's destiny. She goes, not my destiny. She cried.
That's why her eyes
Her
were
eyes
soft.
were soft because she cried. I don't want to marry them. And therefore her tears, the gates of tears are never closed. She was able to jump fence. And she married Yaakov. And from her comes who?
Yehuda.
Right? Comes
Six
Yehuda,
And David.
Shimon. Comes, Levi, right? Comes Moshe, Aaron, right? Mashiach, the kings and the priests.
Right.
From the darkest spot comes the holiest light. Okay? It's the same thing. Everything from the dark side. From the darkest side comes
Leah?
the holiest.
From Leah.
From Leah. Look what happened. She gave 6 kids. And from the 6 kids, you get Reuben, Shimon, Levi. Look what Levi. Levi is Moshe, Aaron, right? The priesthood. And from Yehuda is the kingship.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Wow, that is amazing.
Right?
All from tears.
Now that you decide.
Okay? Just to give you a little bit of background. Okay? So that's what Rivka was doing. She says, you got to do this. You got to put on his skin. You got to make the meat and go in there and get the blessings. And he said, I don't want to do this. Right? You're doing it. Because he had to trick it. It had to be done through that. Because the Nachash is not going to let you just walk in and get the blessings. It ain't going to happen. They're going to fight like hell because it's their juice. You're
But God-
stealing their oil.
But God told his brother to do that, so it wasn't like she imagined it.
God did not tell Yaakov to do that.
No, not Yaakov. Yaakov's mother, I don't remember her name.
Rivka, no, she heard the voice. She says, she's eavesdropping, into the conversation between
sure that
Yitzchak and Esav. I'm going to give you the blessings. I need you to go get me some
I'm
food.
sure I read that. Hashem told her?
To do it? Probably because her inner soul says, this is your tikkun, and you got to do it. This is your tikkun.
Right.
Okay? This is going to rectify you. Let's finish here. Had the Jewish people not made the golden calf? Okay, it's all confusion, okay, but, you somehow figure things out. Had the Jewish people not made the golden calf at the time of the giving of the Torah, Nadav and Avihu would not have died through the burning, since the Zuhama had already been removed. Don't forget, when we stood at Mount Sinai, that Zuhama of the Nachash was removed. The Shmutz of the Nachash was gone, which means we lived forever. No more death. We only die because of the Zuhamat Nachash, the Shmutz of the serpent. That's the only reason. Yishai never sinned. He only sinned because of the Zuhamat Nachash. Okay? Because of the Shmutz of the serpent. Because of what happened in the Garden of Eden. He was a sin-free person. There's 3 others also. Okay? In any case, this was... So then if they would never have sinned with the golden calf, Nadav and Avihu would never have to die. This was... Even though Nadav and Avihu themselves had sinned, as it says, they chose ones of the children of Israel. He did not harm. That's in Shmos. Okay? The chosen ones of the children of Israel, he did not harm. Okay, so it sounds like they had sinned in certain ways, and we all know that because Nadav and Avihu did bring the strange fire at the inauguration of the temple. It would have been sufficient that they died on their own, not through burning. In other words, they would have died, but through other means. They didn't have to have that experience.
But according to the portrait, they didn't burn.
The fire went through their nostrils and burned their insides.
Yeah, but
They were husks. They were shells.
They appeared to be normal looking.
Normal looking, all outside was clean,
Right.
but the fire went into their nostrils and burned their insides. However, since the Jewish people did sin through the calf, the golden calf, the Zuhama, the Shmutz of the snake, returned and attached itself once again to the Nefesh of Adam, which was Nadav, and Avihu, and therefore they had to be burned. And this is the reason it says, that all your brothers, the entire house of Israel, shall cry over the burning that God burned. Because their sin caused the burning, and not the need for death itself. All of the Jewish people cried for them, since they were equal to the entire Jewish people, having received the Nefesh of Adam. In other words, everybody knew that these two were on an extremely high level. Because it's like Adam and Cain. Okay? They felt it. Furthermore, it had been their father Aaron who had made the calf. Therefore, it was his sons who were burned because of it. As it says, God became very angry with Aaron to destroy him.
Doesn't the Torah say that the son shall not be liable for the sins of the fathers?
That's true. That's true.
But the fathers are liable for the sins of the son? Which is just the opposite.
Oh, the other 2 sons of
No, actually, when Moshe was on Mount Sinai, and he all of a sudden got the memo, they made a golden calf, get down there and handle it, right? He also got the decree that all 4 sons of Aaron are going to die, all 4.
Did he pray for
He
them?
prayed. He
For
prayed
the other-
and saved 2.
Right.
Couldn't save the other 2. But it's kind of strange because when after the burning happened, actually Moshe said to Aaron, I knew that 2 people were going to die. I thought it was going to be you and me.
I remember
Once I know it's these, then I realized that these guys were higher than us.
Mhm.
So, a little conflicting midrashim, okay? However, only Nadav and Avihu were killed who had the nefesh of Adam. In other words, God was going to really destroy Aaron also, but apparently what happened was only Nadav and Avihu, okay, because of the sin of the golden calf. Aaron and Cohen was from the root of Hevel, whose reincarnations were Hevel, Aaron, Nadav. That's also Nadav. How interesting. Hur, Yavetz, Haran, Shmuel, Uriah HaKohen, Uriah HaChiti, as we saw earlier in the discussion regarding roots, which were discussed at length. In other words, if you want to know the chain of Aaron, it goes all the way back from Hevel and all of these characters here. How does Nadav there? We're going to have to go back and get an explanation. Because he just got through saying Nadav was Cain.
Hevel's Abel, okay.
Hevel is Abel. But you see all of these people, Aaron, Nadav, Hur. Hur was from Abel. Hur got killed, by the way.
I remember that.
Yavetz,
I don't remember him.
I don't know who Yavitz is. I don't remember. Haran.
Mhm.
Haran was the son of Terach. Haran was the son of Terach, who was also going to be thrown in the fire. Actually, he was thrown in the fire and
Yeah.
killed.
But he didn't.
He was the original, because here he was like saying, his basically statement was, we'll see who wins. They asked him, who you side with? You go with the Nimrod or you go with Abraham? Right? So he says, well, let's see who wins, and then.
I'll decide.
So Avram wins. He says, okay, I'm with Avram. Okay, so we're throwing you in. And then threw him in and he burned. Okay, therefore, in other words, make a stand before. Don't go, I'll see who wins. Never say, we'll see who wins. Okay, you got to make a stand always. Okay? And he had to make a stand. And really, Aaron's tikkun was also to make a stand that he also should have accepted himself to die at the sin of the golden calf. Don't forget, when Moshe was late, right? And they and everything was happening, they went to Hur first and say, we need a new God now. And Hur went, we don't do this. This is not we don't commit idolatry. Have you ever heard of the nasty 4-letter word idolatry? We don't do it. They stoned him, they killed him on the spot, he's dead.
Right.
They killed him. They killed Hur. He accepted to get killed. And then they went to Aaron, and Aaron made an account in his head. He says, well, I could accept to be killed, could say no, and then accept to be killed. But if I do that, then they kill a prophet, because I'm a prophet, and it's worse to kill a prophet. So he made an accounting in his head. How
interesting.
Rationalization, it happens. The best of us, we do it all the time.
Is this Shmuel Hanavi?
What?
Shmuel Hanavi, for sure.
Son of Hannah.
So that's why Haran had to make a stand. So Aaron should have made the stand. He did not make the stand.
Right.
Therefore, he had to come back. He came back as, I think, Uriah Cohen. Uriah Cohen actually made a stand in this altar. They were going to sacrifice to idolatry. He made the stand and he took the hit, finally. Uriah Cohen. Uriah Hiti is astounding how he could be how that could be a descendant of heaven. Uriah Hiti was the squire boy of Goliath. Okay, we know this story before. You didn't miss it.
I'm sure I read it.
King David wanted to pull the sword out to kill Goliath, to chop off Goliath's head, but it was a special coded thing. So he asked the squire boy of Goliath, help me to get it out, and I'll give you a daughter of Israel to marry. You schmendrick, who the heck are you to give a daughter of Israel to marry? It's your soulmate.
I remember that.
Got it? Uriah Hiti married King David's soulmate. Okay? So I don't know whether Tikkun is in that. I do not know how that is fixing heaven.
Who's King David's soulmate?
Bathsheba. Was
But
the
David
original.
married her.
I'm sorry, did I say King David?
Yes.
King David's soulmate was Bathsheba.
No,
You just
but
said
who
that.
married Uriah?
Right.
But I thought King David married
Oh,
Bathsheba.
no, this is it.
King
Uriah.
David's soulmate was Bathsheba, and King David married Bathsheba.
But you said...
But before that,
She was... Bathsheba was married to Uriah Hiti first.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Uriah Hiti died in battle.
Yeah, David made sure of that.
Retroactive divorce.
He made
Works
sure
every
that
time.
he made sure he was in the front lines. I
Right,
remember that.
right, works every time. Technically, she was really single.
Mhm.
We're good.
Well, let's see. He refused to sleep with his wife.
Uriah Hiti,
That
correct.
may be how he refused to take a stand.
He refused an order of the king. The king said, go home. And he said, no, I'm staying with boys. I like the hang with boys.
No, he didn't say it.
Yeah, we got a pajama party at 12 and a pillow fight at
He
1.
said, I
And we're
can't
going to have
enjoy
jelly
myself.
bean.
He says, I can't
Then-
enjoy myself when my fellow soldiers are dying on the battlefield.
Nah, he hung around the palace. He was in the palace. He was called back for R&R, and he hung around the palace with the boys.
But
He liked
actually
boys.
said,
It was the one opinion that he liked boys.
there is.
That's why he was obligated the death penalty, according to one view.
Oh.
He was the... Watch out. Anyways, I don't know, though. I can't,
You weren't there.
I heard this from someone. So, but Uriah Hiti, they say he disobeyed a commandment of the king to go and home.
Yeah, but the reason that he said he did it.
Noble is schmoble. The king tells you do X, you do X. That's no. Don't be so noble. Okay.
What I mean
Noble
is,
schmoble.
was he-
Okay, let's go.
was
Let's go. We
that
gotta finish.
constitute refusal to stand up.
I don't know, but all I knew is one thing: Hevel was vapor. He didn't take a stand. Haran didn't take a stand. Aaron didn't take a stand. Right, so it needed to get fixed to take a stand. Okay, How these other ones fit in, I don't know. Shmuel also maybe needed to take a stand. I know what the stand that is.
He didn't kill the Amalek, all of them.
No, that was King Shaul didn't kill all the Amalekites.
Right.
But Shmuel finished the job. But Shmuel, when
Yeah.
people says, we need a king, we got to have a king. And Shmuel says, we got a king. We got God. And he should have says, I'm not doing it. Maybe that would have been his stand.
But
Okay.
Hashem gave him permission.
Okay, you're right. I don't know. All I'm saying is it's interesting to figure this out. You got to meditate on
But he
this.
did.
Haran, let's finish. Haran was the Gilgul that got 10% battery power. Haran was the Gilgul of Hevel, as was Nahor,
His tongue.
his brother.
Now, this is interesting.
Nahor had a brother, right? Okay, he got killed too. Okay, different means. He poisoned himself. 'Cause
What? Who's not?
Nahor. Nahor was the mother of Rivka, right? The brother, the father of Lavan and Rivka, Rebecca. Nahor was the one when Eliezer went to go and fetch Rivka to be a wife for Yitzchak, right? And Nahor says, we're going to poison the food. He poisoned the food. He gave him Eliezer the plate, and then, somehow there was some kind of distraction. An angel switched the plates. Nahor ate the food and died.
But Lavan
Yeah.
was her brother.
What?
Lavan was her brother.
Nahor? Nahor was the father of Rivka. In any case, Aaron is composed of the letters Haran. That you have to know. How interesting. That
That is
helps.
interesting.
That helps you to hook it up.
Haran is not.
Haran is Hey Resh Nun, which is in the same root as Aharon. Aharon also has a Hey Resh Nun in his name. Hur, the son of Miriam, has the letters from Nahor. Haran came to rectify the sin of idol worship that Adam Arishon had committed, as it said, as it says, I guess God commanded, and commanded applies to idol worship. Nevertheless, Haran doubted God, so therefore that's why Haran died. This is the end of this discussion, all of which is explained in previous chapters. Okay, fine.
That was pretty interesting.
Oh my goodness.
You got to get the